This is the interestingly titled Immortal Snake Nest, and I'm Pappy Deadman. I still don't understand what happened. I was at work when suddenly the snake began to move. It had taken residence in my skull some time ago. I couldn't recall when anymore. I found it difficult to talk about it to other people, despite always feeling it. Every day was a feat in constantly relearning to live with its demands. As the snake loosened its grip on my frontal lobe, I suddenly found myself feeling lighter, eased. For the first time in a long time, my sigh of relief came in the form of a moan as my body collapsed onto the floor. When I had come to, I was faced with an endless ceiling and a man in a white coat. Good afternoon. I had difficulty making out his face. You gave everyone quite a scare back there. Do you remember what happened? Yeah, I do. Well, at the very least, I can confirm that your vitals are normal. Nothing serious from the impact with the ground either. Who are you? We just finished the preliminary tests. You don't have anything to worry about right now. Ah, maybe I wasn't clear enough. I'll try asking again. Who are you? He is looking at me as if he doesn't know I've finished speaking. Anyhow, we have just one last thing to do, and then you're home free. Sit tight. He squeezes my bare calf affirmingly before rising from his seat and disappearing behind the curtain. Well, that's not very professional for a start. The snake has been clenching intensely ever since I've woken up. It is uncertain about its surroundings as I am. A cautionary hiss only I can hear reverberates through my body. Like the primordial predator it is, it will not forfeit the comfort of its nest so easily. Controlled, I start from the head. Unclenching my jaw, I exhale and squeeze the tension from diaphragm. My chest deflates in succession. The gentle motion unties the forces binding my shoulders against my sides. My lower back rolls against the plastic covering of the mattress, spreading itself out farther than the state I had awoken in. The buttocks, thighs, calves, and feet follow until I'm splayed against the surface. Almost sounds quite relaxing, but those two images kind of cancelling that out. I mean, that's just tense. Like an animal on a dissection tray. I am relaxed. The beast does not know pleasure, but is contented with my self-discipline. It retracts its fangs and curls itself back into a comfortable bundle. I feel it watching me intensely, still. I hope you haven't fallen asleep in there. Okay, so here's Captain Calf Squeezer and an orderly. The man in the white coat emerges from behind the curtain. Another man in scrubs holding a metal dish follows behind him. Oh, not an orderly. Composed, I am now able to address the men in proper. Doctor, while I cannot speak for what had happened to me, I can assure you that I feel fine now. Silence. The doctor smiles reassuringly. The nurse rings his fingers along the bottom of the dish. I don't like where this is going. Furthermore, as you can see, my physical and mental faculties have remained intact. If anything, I feel rather refreshed. Either they're not hearing this or they're just not buying it. The doctor's expression remains the same. He turns his head to look at his partner. It's shock, most likely. When individuals emerge from traumatic experiences, rationalization of the event may be expressed in the form of rambling. I'm sure you've acquainted yourself with this in your studies. The nurse nods. What do you suggest? Well, eccentric behaviour isn't necessarily violent behaviour, the doctor explains. Nonetheless, protocol should take precedent. Oh. So this is going to involve restraint. Not taking the proper precautions can become a liability. Ah, yes. So you're saying we should muzzle her? Muzzle. The doctor chuckles. It's like I'm not even here. Reason with them. I would like to call my employer to let them know that I'm alright before we do anything, please. I can feel the nurse glaring at me. Despite being unable to see his face, and I know that I have upset him, in particular, by interjecting. The serpent slithers around my brain, marking its territory. It watches the nurse watch me. Limply laying on the bed, I feel naked beneath their gazes. He opens his mouth for a curt reply. Whatever you're trying to do, it's going to have to wait. The doctor smoothly follows this up. There are things going on with you that we need you to help us understand. There is something wrong with me? A diagnostic was conducted while you were unconscious. The doctor raised his brows sympathetically. Some of your co-workers told us that you have troubles integrating with them. Well, I hope you've got better than that if you're going to be doing something medical. You're friendly and hardworking, but maintain certain boundaries. Okay, this is all getting a bit Orwellian here. I'm very personal with them. I remain firm. Of course. A little on the quiet side, though, right? Prefer to keep work at work? He seems to be listening now. I looked cautiously. There isn't anything wrong with that. His disposition remains amiable. Would you say that your episode today was maybe due to some of these difficulties? Snake is calm right now. I feel like I can answer honestly. Perhaps a little. Well, in that case, I think we might just have something that may help. He's pleased. We'll expedite your treatment. Your cooperation has been appreciated. My eyes flick to the sponge the doctor is holding. The nurse is still glaring at me. The doctor grips my calf with the same reassuredness as before, setting the sponge between my legs on the mattress. Oh God. And, in a perfunctory motion, extracts a serpent from the metallic dish. Okay. That I was not expecting. The snake in my skull feels my fear set in immediately. It unfurls and presses itself against my temporal lobe as I flexibly snap my legs away from the doctor. I open my mouth and scream, but all that leaks out is a confused whine. The snake inhibits me from responding. I bunch the thin, hospital-grade cotton blanket against my bed in an attempt to erect a barrier between myself and it. I'm always so mindful of my snake, so why... Without the doctor's request, the nurse strides towards me and attempts to hold me in place. His form partially obscures my vision. In tandem, the snake presses itself against every strip of interior flesh it can find. It gyrates to create a painful friction before baring its fangs and hovering over my cortex. My pitiful blanket barrier has been carelessly crushed by the nurse's body weight. Unable to take more abuse, I finally freeze. The doctor moves towards me with the snake in hand and slides the sponge closer to me. 2 appeals, okay. Go for appeal. I don't want to see that. I don't want it. I cough and recompose under the pressure. Please, doctor, I can assure you I'm just fine. The weight of the nurse does not wane. Perhaps a bit hungry from having slept for so long. The doctor washes a small patch of skin on my leg. The snake perks up, smelling the moist flesh. Unlike the one in my brain, this one is blind. Its olfactory senses do not appear inhibited, however, as it levitates towards the scent. The doctor guides it closer, allowing it to become acquainted like a newborn baby towards a family pet. I feel a thin tongue whip across a patch of my leg. Doctor, I have a very important arrangement this afternoon and I have no time for an operation. Could we reconsider rescheduling? Mature, reasonable. I'm sweating gloves. There's no one to cry for to help me. That's why they gave me the first snake. Doctor, while I have a sturdy constitution, I may just make matters more difficult for you by being so unprepared. Doctor, I am an upstanding member of society. If I need another snake, snake, then I can independently decide the appropriate avenues. And if you give me at least 48 hours, I'll be able to compile references who will attest to my character. Her hair is so stringy, the nurse says idly. The doctor's maw stretches open, letting out an affectionate laugh, and the snake bites down. Layers of teeth penetrate the first epidermal layer, and using the suction from its throat, the serpent stretches the ensnared skin apart to travel to the second layer of flesh. The bone snaps upon impact with its tough head. Ooh, you're doing great so far. The doctor's voice sounds so far away. Sinew is restructured as quickly as it is destroyed. The tarnished flesh is used as nutrition, and the creature secretes a thick fluid that ossifies in its place. Handy. Despite being a reptile, the destruction is mechanical, similar to an ant at work. The initial prick is painful, but the installation itself is similar to an uncomfortable cramp. Feeling it wiggle makes me want to throw up more than anything else. I'm unmoving, but the nurse and the serpent in my brain grip me harder than before. An unnatural process made natural from inside and out. The snake shakes to loosen the entrance as the rest of its body is propelled inside. The assimilation is complete. Look at that. The nurse peels himself off me like a thick strip of gauze, and I can finally see what's become of my leg. Swollen, fetid, the wound is still fresh. The snake periodically tosses and turns, attempting to accustom itself to its new home. The doctor tilts his head to look at my face. It'll feel itchy for about 72 hours. Once it's comfortable in there, though, you'll find yourself with a whole new lease of life. The edges of my mouth lift into a weary smile. We'll put it in a cast to keep it isolated until the incubation period is finished. Speak to the front desk to book a follow-up appointment after you get dressed. After a week, I go back to work. The boss has a box of donuts in the winter room celebrating my rehabilitation. My co-workers ask how I'm feeling. I tell them a little bit better and apologise for any inconvenience. Everyone signed my cast. Jeez. I'm not exactly new to body horror, but it's not a genre I've had a lot to do with. But that's certainly firmly in that camp. It's definitely a bit of an Orwellian thing going on there, but 1984-ish. Your co-workers notice you don't quite fit in, you're not open enough with them, so you get the next snake. I like the fact that it makes no sense, but actually it makes total sense. It just, it wasn't what I was expecting, because I was expecting this snake in the brain to, I suspect that'll be the intention. It's what I thought they would be after, but of course they're not. The snake's actually in cahoots with them, holding you down to accept the next part of the puzzle, as it were, to get you to fit into society. I mean, these critters installed in you. That was quite something. I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed at that.